Okay guys, let's roll. This could well be a long one. There's going to be a lot of information in it, and towards the end you might have to do a bit of reading. What are we talking about? We're talking about tuberculosis, TB, that used to be known as the White Death. Okay, let's go. We're over on the blog of the Home with the Green Arrow that I opened in 2007. Yeah, this article that you see on the left of the screen was written in 31st of January 2007. The Home of the Green Arrow blog existed between 2000 and 2010 when I opened up two regular websites, proper websites as opposed to blog spots. Those sites were the Home of the Green Arrow and Friends, which had about 12, sometimes as many as 20 writers. We would be churning out articles in support of the BNP and what was happening around in the world. In the end, the Home of the Green Arrow and Friends got that big that I created another website called The British Resistance. And on that one, we had forums, chat rooms, podcasts. We even had our own little radio station that people could tune into, and we had apps made. One of the first apps ever was put out by the British Resistance, where you could play music and stuff like that. We had some great patriots working with me. Yeah, we were a team. Always a team with me, never I. Okay, well, this was one of the first articles I wrote in 2007 about TB. I'll be giving you the statistics on TB at the end. It was called A Benefit of Immigration, the White Death. And as we all know, the financial benefits brought to the UK by immigrants are so small that your share of this wealth would be less than a third of a Mars bar per month. You can read more about the financial benefits of immigration here. Now on to what I'm interested in. However, I am more concerned about something else, that some of these immigrants, whether under the guise of refugees or under lorries, being concealed within them. TB. This was before the boats. The number of cases of tuberculosis, one of the world's deadliest and hardest to treat diseases, is back and on the increase in the UK, usually known as TB or sometimes the White Death. This killer is back. Not that you would believe the seriousness of this disease from the BBC's tiny report. The BBC was saying people shouldn't be worried. There was an outbreak of it in South Wales in my area, and they said we shouldn't be concerned. With the introduction of powerful drugs back in the mid-20th century, the UK was on the point of kicking this one particular killer into the history books. Then back in the 90s, it started to increase. You'll see the figures later. You know why, I know why, the world knows why. Immigrants, the only ones who will not see the truth of the BBC and multiculturalists who will see this killer as politically sensitive, because the increase over the past decade has been almost wholly confined to the immigrant community. So the next time someone tells you about the benefits brought to our country, then remind them of the increase in the growth of the White Death. Read more about the killer here. That goes off to the NHS. Enjoy that mouthful of Mars bars. Some of us will pay an heavy price for it. So as you can see, one of the reasons that the BNP had to be destroyed is because it was bringing the truth to the people through people like me. Anyhow, followed up with another article I did in February 2007. This concerns someone you may remember, the Daily Mirror. Remember it? Well, the downmarket tabloid has printed an article about Richard Barnbrook of the British National Party contracting tuberculosis. Richard Barnbrook was an assembly member or wherever they have as in London, in the London Assembly or wherever they call it. And he was elected there and he did a damn good job. He later dated a famous ballerina whose life was made hell and her career was destroyed because of her relationship with him. Anyhow, understandably, Councillor Barnbrook is a little peeved about this, but with their usual flair, the red rag screams, Barnbrook 46 ranted, yes, I have got TB, immigration has caused this. True, and he may well be right. It is difficult to go anywhere in our nation now without bumping into someone from Asia or Africa, both countries with a very high rate of the White Death. The newspaper then goes on to blame everyone and everything for the rise of TB except the real one, immigration. They then list the following facts. I have taken the liberty to comment under each one. Right, Daily Mirror. Tuberculosis was never wiped out in Britain, despite doctors finding an antibiotic cure more than 50 years ago. Yeah. Now that would be right when you consider that is around the time that we opened the gates to immigration and invited the disease in. The only way to stop a sink overflowing is to turn off the tap. Yeah, we would have eliminated TB by now. TB, although there is a cure for it, it takes a long time to treat. Daily Mirror. Cases here have never fallen below 5,000 a year. Half of all TB diagnosed is in British people that were born in the UK. I quote from statistics. In England, 60% of cases are in ethnic minority groups, which comprise only 5% of the population. That was back then. Now, 80% of cases of TB are in ethnic groups. Now, in the United Kingdom, that's 80% of all cases in the UK. I don't know what the percentage of immigrants or illegal settlers are in our country now, probably around about 14-15%, maybe more. They then go on to list more of the same, still playing down the link with immigration and even more dangerous for the population, how serious the problem is. Ask yourself this, who do you believe? The Daily Mirror with its hidden agenda or the World Health Organization who have taken the unique step of declaring tuberculosis to be a world emergency? Excuse me while I have a sip of coffee. Right, now on to the statistics. Yeah. Sam, please give me a brief history of tuberculosis in the UK. I know most of these figures already, guys. This is for your benefit. Medieval period. Then, 1882, Robert Koch identified the TB bacterium, proving it was infectious. Huge breakthrough. Britain responded with public health campaigns, isolation in sanatoria, milk pasteurization to stop bovine TB. Deaths slowly declined, mostly due to better living conditions rather than medicine. Okay. 1940s to the 1960s, the miracle drug era. Everything changed after World War II. 1948, the NHS was created. 1950s, antibiotics like streptomycin and Eisner's, whatever, arrived. TB death rates collapsed. Sanitaria closed. Many believed TB was basically solved. 1970s, 1990s, the comeback. TB never fully disappeared. It rose again with immigration from high TB countries. HIV, AIDS, weakening immune systems, and we know how that started and how that spread. Urban poverty. By the 1990s, London had TB rates similar to some developing world cities, and it's even worse. Right. We now treat in 5,000 cases a year. Big picture, TB in the UK went from mass killer, medical triumph, chronic public health problem. It's a classic example of how disease follows poverty, housing, and inequality as much as medicine. Yeah. Bring in the third world, you bring in their diseases. Right, now for your benefit, I already know these. Sam, what percentages of demographics have TB in the UK? Right, absolutely, Paul. Place of birth. People born outside the UK make up the vast majority of TB cases. About 81.9% of notifications in England in 2024. Right. That's 4,490 out of the 5,484 cases. Okay. So when they say, 5,000 a year, over 4,000 of those are from people we brought in, and they are TB is contagious, as you know. TB notification rates much higher per capita in non-UK born people than UK. Yeah. Age groups, I'll let you read this. Ethnicity. Certain ethnic groups in the UK historically have much higher TB rates compared with white British, tens of times higher in some cases. Asian or black African. Local data. I'm letting you read this now. Here you go. Big picture takeaways. Non-UK born people carry 80% plus of TB in England. Young adults 15 to 44. UK born men consistently account for more cases than women. Might have something to do with some of those men's sexual practices. Ethnicity matters a lot for risk, especially combined with migration history. Do I want specific figures for particular UK regions? Fumbling my mouth. I washed my tongue, I can't do a thing with it. Right, TB by region, I'll let you read that. Wales, low compared with global hotspots. Ethnicity, country of birth. Here we go. Here's the people who were spreading the disease. Indians, 33%, Pakistani, 13%, Nigerians, 4.6%, and Romanians coming in at 3.8%. Here you go. Notification rates per 100,000. Yeah. Wider patterns, migration. Let you read this now, guys. Okay. Yeah, now I know that there is a cure, obviously, because I've researched this lots of times, but I want to get it out here for what it says about it, for the treatment. The treatment is long, fragile, only works if everything goes right. TB takes months to kill, not days. It's becoming resistant to the treatment. TB hides in people. All these immigrants, how many of them are carrying it? How many of your children are getting infected? Poverty, yeah, blah, blah, blah. TB, common, I don't care about South Asia, Africa, or Eastern Europe. Well, actually, I do care about some parts of Eastern Europe. I can't say anything. We have a medical cure, but we don't yet have a public health victory. If you like, I can explain blah, 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 blah. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you. Some of you might find it interesting. Now listen, you have to like these videos, otherwise it'll go down the memory hole and maybe 30 or 40 of you will see it. If you find this useful, then subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and comment and say, Paul, thank you. Or don't bother. You're a shout.